Welcome to Lunch Break with ATI. I'm Cindy Collins. I am a co-founder of Actors Theater of Indiana, the professional resident theater company, right here across the street at the Center for the Performing Arts in good old Carmel, Indiana. And today, my pal, Miles Nelson, is here. Miles is running for mayor of Carmel, and he is on the Democratic ticket. And I think this is awesome. I think it's great that you're running.
Thank you.
Okay, and listen, because that's what this country is: two parties, sometimes three, if you're on the old independent
That's right.
ticket there. But I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. We have Sue Finkam on the Republican ticket, and Miles is on the Democratic one, and we have other Democrats running for city council. So I think it's a pretty exciting campaign right now. You know what I mean? I'm sure you agree.
Well, it's exciting for me.
Yeah, well,
and my wife.
and I'm sure very, very busy.
Yeah.
Exciting, ... and busy, right? So, we try at ATI here, kudos to our marketing director, Meg Osborne. We are having, like Sue was here last week, we're having everybody on, I should say the company, ATI, and due to Meg, we're having different people, all the different people who are running for city council, Sue, who are running for mayor, and I believe that that's the right thing to do, because the public should hear what everyone has to say. Let's not be so close-minded as to just say, well, I am voting this and that's it. Let's open up our minds and let's hear what everyone has to say, because I'm sure the common goal for all of you is for the good of Carmel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think the community wins when you have kind of these competing ideas and leadership styles and, hopes and dreams for the future of the city. And it benefits everybody.
Yeah.
And this is the first time in almost forever that the city of Carmel's actually had an opportunity to see these types of opposing ideas.
Well, and I think it's because Jim, obviously Jim Brainerd, and he was, let me tell you, what a reign he had, right? And his vision in the city was absolutely wonderful, just in my opinion. He was always a great supporter of Actors Theater of Indiana and the whole center and the arts and everything. But I think that's why, it's a end of an era, almost, right? So there he goes. So now it's a fresh, almost like a fresh start or a fresh beginning for this.
For sure.
I guess I don't. It's something different, right?
Well, Mayor Brainerd has done an amazing job, built this community, and we can't forget that. When you think of suburbs of Midwestern Rust Belt cities, you think of suburban sprawl, and what the mayor likes to say is we weren't gifted with or blessed with mountains or oceans.
Yeah.
And so we had to create an attraction, and Carmel's attraction is its high quality of life, its amazing schools, and the art.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, because I'm going to go back. I'll ask you this now, and I'm going to go back to personal stuff afterward. Because the last time you were on, to me, your family is absolutely fascinating. Your wife is fascinating.
Thanks.
And so I think that's important too, because you want people to get to know you. And I think that, especially with local government, right? You got the federal government, and you don't really get to know those politicians. You think you do, but you really kind of don't.
There's a lot of distance, right? There's
really
a lot of distance between us and Washington.
Right.
But same thing with the State House.
Yeah.
But on a local level, it is about people issues. These issues, quite frankly, that we're dealing with aren't red or blue issues. They're people issues.
That's right.
People want, when they call me or when they send me an email, they want a solution to whatever problem they have.
That's
and
right.
That's why I was elected.
That's right. And you don't have a million interns taking
I wish.
taking the phone calls, answering that. You don't have your aides.
Right.
And it's you.
Right.
Right.
It is. Yeah. It is definitely me. If you call, I answer.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's awesome. So, kids and education and the school system, is that a big deal? Is that one of your platforms, a big
Yes.
platform?
Yes,
of yours,
so
right?
because it's personal for me, I'm a dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 kids.
Right.
So my son Noah went
Right.
through all through Carmel High School,
Okay.
middle school and elementary school
Right.
here,
Yeah.
and now he's at the University of Cincinnati studying cybersecurity. Smart guy. And my daughter Olivia is a junior at Carmel High School,
Okay.
and she's amazing too, and will do wonderful things.
Of
But
course.
a lot of that is because of the education that my kids have received from this
Yeah.
school district.
Yeah.
And I will say that the number one reason why people choose to move to Carmel is because of the schools.
That's right. I hear
And we
that
need
too.
to defend them.
They move here to raise their kids in the
Yes.
school system. It's a very good school system.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
Our daughter just graduated last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's
I
a-
can be so bold. Mazel tov.
Oh, Shabbat Shalom. So, but she's at IU, right? So, what is that University of Cincinnati? The Claw Bear, the Bear Claws?
Yeah, the Bearcats.
Bearcats.
Yeah.
Bearcats. And that's a great, wow, that's a great school. Wow.
We're excited to be there.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
So, well, your daughter, is she kind of figuring out where she wants
She
to
is,
go?
and we are going to be
She's a
going
junior,
on
right?
that.
So that's,
Yes, we are going to be going on the trail of colleges soon to kind of see where she
Yeah.
wants to be. That was the whole point. Choosing something for my son that would uniquely fit his desires. He wanted to be in an urban setting. My wife, my daughter, something might be different.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Some universities are college towns.
Mm-hmm.
Some are in the smack dab in the middle of a city,
Right.
and some are
Right.
nowhere.
Right.
Well, that's first thing. That's awesome.
Thank you.
But anyway, yeah, I agree with you. I think having a good school system is extremely, extremely important to a community.
Yes.
And now, what do you think? Let me ask you this about the school. Talking about the
Yes.
school
Mhm.
system, right?
Mhm.
And talking about sometimes all this hoo-ha about, well, these books, kids can't read these books, and we're going to take these books away, and we're going to, all that stuff, right? You can't parent my kid, and this is, and it's a bit of a kind of a cluster sometimes, right?
Right.
So, just what do you think about that?
Well-
What do you think about when a kid is assigned a book to read, okay? And they have to read it, but the parent doesn't want them to read it, maybe,
Right.
or something,
Well, again, what we're grappling with right now, and actually we're seeing in real time with 2 divergent school districts, Hamilton Southeastern, Fishers, and our school district. And so we're watching essentially a business school case study happening right now. And we're seeing, we have an opportunity to decide what direction our school district goes.
Right.
To your first question, I think that's a parent's decision. If a parent decides that there's a book assigned to their child and they don't want that book to be read, then that's their right to do so.
Okay.
So I support parents that way. I support our teachers. I support our superintendent. I support our students, our school board, and parents. I want our schools to be led by the best and the brightest, the teaching professionals.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that our schools remain in the top 1% of the state and also one of the best school districts in the entire country.
Yeah.
We should be proud of this.
Yeah, I can just say, I'm not, moving here.
Mm-hmm.
And where I came from, New Jersey, it was a good school system.
Okay.
And that was almost the same with my town. People moved
Yeah.
to put their kids through the school system.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
And then sometimes they didn't always stay there, the parents, they would leave, but sometimes they did.
Yeah.
And I find that to be the same almost with Carmel.
Right.
And I do think it's an excellent school system because, as I said, our kid went through it and had a great time.
Right.
She was involved in the choir,
Right.
of course, and the choirs are huge over there. So she had that, but then she also had her other friends that were more. She had diversity,
Mm-hmm.
but she did that for herself, and she comes from a household where we're very open-minded,
Right.
and
Right.
accepting,
Right.
and I think that is so important
Right.
in the schools.
Right. We come from a similar household, you know,
Right.
my parents, but in my, you know, household with Carolina, you know, I happen to be Jewish. My wife is Latina from
Yeah.
Venezuela,
Yeah.
and we encourage our kids to you know, go their own paths, you know,
Right.
find their own interests,
Right.
whatever that may be. And we're going to
Right.
be supportive because that's just the way we are in our household.
Right.
And I understand that that might not be for everyone in everyone's household.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like about our school district is that we have a history of success, of creating students who can compete on not just a state level, but in the competitive national and global level as well.
Yeah.
Our teachers are doing an amazing job. We need to make sure that we support our students, pay them well. It isn't always a career you get into. If you want to make a lot of money,
That's right.
you do it for the passion of teaching
That's right.
and educating future generations.
Yeah.
And as mayor, you know, my job will be to support those decision makers at the school board, the superintendent, and make sure teachers feel like they're being defended and represented.
I think, here's, you said this last time,
Yeah.
and I thought it was really, when you got onto the city council,
Yeah.
you said the mayor was very welcoming to you, very helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy, you know, there was no, you're a Democrat, you know,
Right.
you're all in this together, you're all
Right.
in the same boat, everybody has really basically almost the same goal.
Right.
You know, and you did say, you know, you felt very welcomed by him.
Well, absolutely. He's
And,
been
and other council members too.
right. Bruce Kimball. Not all of my colleagues and I have been able to build a strong relationship, but we have a working relationship.
That's exactly.
And frankly, that's what's most important in city council,
Yeah.
state government, national government. They don't care that we're best friends. People elect us, and then we have a responsibility to make the city better, to make sure people are safe, to make sure our streets are taken care of. They don't care that we're friends, but I will tell you, Mayor Brainerd has been my mentor for 4 years. He's now a very close personal friend.
That's nice.
We agree on everything. I drank the Brainerd Kool-Aid. I love what we've done. We can't ever forget that this city was fewer than 20,000 people in the 90s, and now it's 107,000 people.
Yeah.
It's dynamic. We're a beacon of light to other cities around the country. People talk about our city, folks. This is a wonderful
Yeah.
place to live.
Yeah.
And what I want to make sure that we do moving forward is continue building on what we've done.
Yes.
Take care of our infrastructure, focus on our our award-winning amenities, make sure they're taken care of without raising our taxes.
Yeah.
People like our low taxes in the
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, I live here. I do.
Right. Want to take care of our first responders, make sure that they can get home safely every night. They have our backs, we'll have theirs as well.
Yeah.
We need to also be focused on our economy. We survived the pandemic better than most other cities around the country because we have a diverse, well-balanced, hitting on all cylinders type of economy.
Yeah.
Those businesses that now call Carmel home, ranging in the number of between 140 and 150, they need talent. We need to do a great job of attracting and retaining young talent as well.
Exactly. And I think that, I was going to say, going back, you're talking about like the local businesses,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And then you're talking about the younger people moving in and living probably in the apartments, right? I mean, there's quite a few apartments being built, and which certainly it doesn't bother me. I'm from a city, so it doesn't bother me at all. You know, but some people are like, too many apartments. Oh, God, the apartments and those people pay rent and they don't contribute to the community. And I happen to think that's wrong. I happen to disagree with that. I think they do contribute to the community because they are going to the restaurants. They're going, you know, they're young. If they're younger, they're going out.
Well, Cindy,
They're going
you're
out.
absolutely right. They contribute in their own way.
Right.
A city continues to grow and thrive when you have businesses who want to make this their home. By the way, they do.
Yeah.
And when talent wants to make this their home as well. Frankly, I don't care where people moving in live. I want to make sure that we have a healthy balance, a good, smart, intelligent mix of housing options.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't just be a thriving city if it requires a country club membership to live here.
No, because I can't. There's no, my country club is my backyard.
Right.
So
most of us,
can't. I'm an actor.
our country clubs are our backyards.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
So what we, as the future of Carmel, as we continue to move forward, I want this to be a dynamic city for people regardless of their stage of life.
Yeah.
So if you're young and you're looking to build a career, or you're a young family moving here and you want to put your kids in the best school district in the state of Indiana, or you're a senior citizen that wants to continue to contribute, take advantage of our walkability, our bicycle, our bike-friendly type of community, the safety. By the way, our city, folks, was ranked safest city in the state of Indiana. We were ranked second safest suburb in the country, tied with Fishers, and Noblesville came in fifth.
Wow.
Not only do you live in the safest city, but you're also living in the safest county in the country as well. Check and check.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we built a dynamic environment here, a great city.
Yeah.
We need to respect small businesses, make sure that small businesses feel that this is a community that wants them, that welcomes them, that wants them to thrive.
Yeah, it's buy local. I always say that buy local. I grew up that way, buy local. Support local, try to buy local. You can't with everything. It's impossible. You just can't. But just try to do the best you can.
Right.
In supporting your local merchants and supporting your local arts, performing arts.
Here.
It's right here. Performing Arts Center is right here. And this is a city of Carmel. The city of Carmel.
Yes.
So there should be all these things.
And by the way, I want to say something that I want to repeat something I said from the first interview.
Yeah.
My father always said that if you can build a community and you focus on the arts, and there are more artists and musicians and actors and thespians in a community, it's going to be a healthy community. So thank you for all you've done to contribute to our quality of life.
No, I mean, you're welcome. It's just doing my, it's what I love. It's my profession. So that's just, it carries, it carries out there. You know what I mean? Like if you love
it shows.
Doing what you do,
it shows for sure.
On the stage and it exactly. Yeah. It's what actors do, right? But talking about your father, you are like, it's kind of like you come from we're the melting pot here in the United States. So you're kind of like come from the American dream. Almost that
nice,
your family.
You said that last time, and I don't know if I see it that way.
Well, it's look. Your dad was a local merchant, right? He ran a market, right?
My grandfather.
Oh, your grandfather.
Yes. So my grandfather came from Moldova. It was called Bessarabia.
Okay.
At the time, it was part of Romania. My grandmother, my bubby, came from Ukraine. Vladimir Volinsky, a small little village, and they moved from They moved to Indianapolis and they built a life here, and they had a little market that my father grew up in, but it was the local funeral director that my father
That's
saw.
it. Yes. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. It was the local funeral director that always drove a nice car and always had shoes and wore a suit. And my father, at a very early age, said, "That's what I'm gonna. Whatever that guy's doing, I'm doing that." And so he became. Got a job at a funeral home, started working there, bought the funeral home when he was 26, 27, and
he worked his way up the ladder.
So now my sister owns it.
That's it.
I work with my sister at the funeral home.
I couldn't remember. I knew there was.
Right. I own a company that does executive search. I get hired by companies to find their senior leadership. Okay. We own commercial real estate. My father was also a commercial real estate developer, and so we own commercial real estate that we take a lot of pride in. Yeah.
But that's from nothing almost. That is, we all came from somewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
In this country.
Right.
And but the immigrants that came here and had to work their way up, I have no concept of that. Growing up.
Well, and talking about immigrants, my wife Carolina, comes from Venezuela, Valencia, Venezuela.
Oh,
she came here when she was 20, I believe, and wanted to learn English, so she was part of the language academy at Butler University, and then stayed, never went back, and enrolled herself at IUPUI, got a a degree. Now she has a master's degree from Michigan
and
State.
see, I mean,
she's been killing it. She's wonderful and terrific. She was talking about the American dream. She gets here. Yeah. She becomes a news anchor on the local Univision affiliate with Wish TV.
Yes.
Runs a company that I had started for about 10 years, then goes and works for Roche, then works for Anthem, now works for another company, and is doing an amazing job.
She doesn't like to achieve too much.
Not at all. But when they do come and say we want her to they do come and say we want her to be president or U.S. senator or congresswoman, whatever, I'll be like, what took you so long?
Right?
Yeah,
so there you have that, the American dream too.
Absolutely.
It's every generation, different generations. And I think that is very noble. I think it's probably the hardest things for people to do. You're coming to a country you don't know. You're leaving your country to come to somewhere where you maybe have nothing. And like I said, I don't have any concept of that, right? Having to work that hard just to make a life. Not even just working that hard in a profession you choose, just working that hard to make a life for yourself. Yeah. I mean, my gosh. And I think that with that background you have with your family, your grandparents came. It's not that long ago. It was your grandparents.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Now your dad was born here.
Yes.
Right, but still, your grandparents came over,
That's right?
So, I think that is fascinating, and I think that gives you a feeling of growing up where you got to work.
Well, Cynthia,
you got to work. You got it. You can't be a slacker.
Right.
Right.
I look at everything that I do, from the businesses that I've started. My background is business, and so I've started, built, run, and then sold 2 businesses. Yeah. I've had some businesses that haven't been successful. Right now, I'm running a business while I'm campaigning full time for mayor. But I look at my wife and the struggles that she's had to kind of go through as a Latina, a woman going into careers that she knew nothing about and thriving. My grandparents coming from countries where they didn't speak the language and trying to eke out a living to take care of kids. And, I look at these things and what I'm doing, nothing compared to what they've done. So I can roll with whatever I've done.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But they're an inspiration to me too. So
that's what I'm saying. And that's in your blood, right? Mm-hmm. That work ethic,
right?
And I think that's totally important. I think it's a part of. I think it's part of you running to be a civil servant.
Oh, right. And let me kind of talk about what our kitchen table conversations were like in my household growing up. So my folks would always so my mom had a maternity dress store in Broderville. And so growing up, we would talk about, can we make payroll? Can we, is our business going to survive? We would talk about the challenges that all small business owners have. But added to that conversation was my mom and my dad talking about that as members of a community, as Americans, as Hoosiers, that our role is also to speak up and speak out for people whose voices don't always go heard. And so that is woven into our fabric. So, that is what it was to be a Nelson.
Right.
I teach the same things to my kids, and I am proud to say that they also have an interest in public service and getting involved. And I can just tell that my wife and I are bringing up two new Nelsons that are going to be major contributors to the community.
Carrying on the traditions and the values of your family.
And my sister, Jennifer, on the school board here in Carmel, and a protector and fighter for the school district. And my sister Lori, who lives in Chicago, also deeply involved in her community, doing wonderful things.
I think it's important. My family was too. I think it's very important to be involved in your community because, it's where you live. You can't just be like, it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect me. It's going on over there. Well, it does. It affects all of us. It affects everyone who lives in that community, no matter how long you live in that community. Just be aware of what's going on. Try to help in your own little way, maybe. Try to contribute in your own little way, right? everyone who lives anywhere, it doesn't matter. You have to contribute you have to contribute to life, no, right? No matter how anyone lives, you contribute.
And that can
to
take a
where
lot
you
of
are.
different forms, right? Getting
That's what I'm
involved, rolling
saying.
up your
That's what I'm
sleeves, doing
saying.
something,
Thank you.
cleaning
In
things
different
up.
forms,
Right.
in different forms, as little or as big as it is, contribute somehow,
Right.
right? Because, like I said, it's where you live,
Yeah.
and take pride in it, which of course I know you do, and
Yeah.
and I think everyone running does take pride in what's happening here in Carmel. I read what everybody's saying, and everyone has the same. They do the same goal. They're having the same goal of like I said, the good of the community.
Right.
You're doing it in different ways.
Right.
You're
Absolutely.
going about it in different ways. But I think everyone who wants to be on that council, and the two of you are running, want to work together.
Yes, absolutely. I think what we have shown is that the way we handle things on Carmel City Council, different than maybe some of our sister cities that don't get along as well and come together to handle city business.
Right.
Our city has done well, and hopefully
so
that at
too.
the state level and at the national level, they can learn. We can be kind of a beacon of light to these governments on how government should be done and how to do government right.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, of
Oh,
course,
gosh.
as you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in bigger government, it's a lot, more difficult.
Yeah.
But it's doable. It's doable. I remember. I remember when Ronald Reagan was president. I don't know if we talked about this, and he and who was it? Was it Tip O'Neill, Speaker of the House? And they would disagree. Look, everybody's going to disagree. We're not all skipping through the daisies here, but and he said, we sit down together, and they were, having a little, whatever, Scotch, bourbon, whatever their drink of choice was. So I don't know if that was very good making decisions, but maybe, but maybe it loosened up Tip O'Neill a little bit, and he could. They worked it out.
Well,
the bottom line is they worked it out.
I always
right?
say, right, and I say this all the time, that democracy is definitely the best form of government.
Yes.
But it's messy. It's supposed to be messy. By design, it's messy.
Well,
different ideas, different thoughts, different, ideas on how to handle a challenge.
Yeah.
They need to come together. We need to have argument. We need to have discussions. We need to listen. And then we need to compromise. And then move on to the next problem.
Someone's always compromising.
Right,
that's just the way it is.
But both sides need to compromise.
Yeah.
And that's how you move things along.
Yeah.
One side doesn't own all the right answers.
No.
And so the idea is that we listen, we work together, we discuss, argue, and then compromise and move on to the next problem.
Yeah, I agree.
That's one of the things about city government is that there's always a challenge that needs to be addressed.
Oh, well, with anyone, there's always something.
Right.
There's no smooth sailing, in anywhere.
Right, because we're human, right? We deal with
thank God
human issues.
We are.
Yeah.
That no AI. That's frightening enough as it is coming into the picture. But yeah, and I agree with you. It's let's try to work it out. You might be arguing, heated arguments, for how long, but at the end, when it all comes down to it, come on, the thing is, people have to put some egos aside sometimes, and stubbornness aside. And I'm speaking for anywhere, not just politics, anywhere where you're trying to figure out a problem, right?
And I promise you this, I promise everyone this when I talk to people, is that as mayor, I will wake up every day looking for solutions, working with my colleagues on city council, working with the other mayors within the region to create, an atmosphere that keeps Carmel moving forward.
Yeah.
People love in Carmel the high quality of life. In addition to safety, we are at the top of most every quality of life metric. Our economy, as I had mentioned before, is booming. And my goal is to keep it growing.
Yeah.
And my goal is also to respect our traditional neighborhoods, take care of those neighborhoods.
Because I'm in one of those.
Are you? So am I.
Yeah.
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 Because
So,
they're that's
yeah.
also part of a suburb, right? A part of a city.
I
That
agree.
you have areas where people can congregate, and we have those areas. Midtown, the Arts District, where you have kids and adults and families coming together and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
By the way, that's unique for suburbs. Usually that doesn't happen in a Midwestern traditional
Yeah,
suburb.
because there are little pockets here.
Yeah, we have pockets where
that
people
people
can get
can
together,
hang out.
meet one another,
Yeah.
enjoy each other's
Yeah,
company, learn
yes.
from one another.
Mhm.
And what I've learned too is when you have these pockets, these gathering areas, people realize that we're all pretty similar. That those differences, those perceived differences, aren't so different.
Yeah.
And that we can all get along.
Right.
But we also like to have our trees and our paths and
That's
our beautiful
right,
areas.
like the
and
green
those
space,
traditional
the
neighborhoods.
green space
Yes.
too.
One of the
you
things
know?
I'm most proud of is creating a not-for-profit called Carmel Cleanup Crew with my daughter Olivia in 2019 when she was much younger, with a mission not only to pick up trash but to plant trees.
Oh,
And
that's
so
good.
to plant 10,000 trees
Yeah.
in this city over 10 years, and I'm proud to say we've distributed and planted over 4,000 trees. And so keeping this a tree-friendly city where we have pockets of greenery, where it's good for our mental health and good for our physical health,
Yeah.
keeps temperatures down.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's very
that's what
important,
we
too.
have to always be
Because
focused
people
on.
talk about the building and they're building so
Yeah.
much and this building and when is the construction going to
Mm-hmm.
end and that's a big argument.
We
you
do
know?
have a lot of buildings going up, and as mayor, I'll be focused on making sure that any type of development that we have does a couple of things. Fits within our community,
Yeah.
that has a great return on investment. Listen, as I mentioned earlier, not only do we like our low taxes, we have the third lowest taxes in the state of Indiana, but for a municipality, but we also like our wonderful streets. We like all these wonderful, nice things to do.
Well, the Monarch,
That happens,
walking down the Monarch.
right. All of
that
these
being
things are
shaded.
paid for primarily by commercial developments. And so we need to be a welcoming place and open-minded to these types of things, but I'll make sure that every development is done and every dollar spent is spent with purpose and what's best for the community. And by the way, I will be fully transparent and have open lines of communication. You may not agree with what I want to do,
Right.
but you'll always know what I'm planning
What
to
you're
do
doing.
and how we're going to pay for it.
Right, what
Yes.
you're doing, right? Yeah. Yeah, that whole transparency has been a big thing too.
Yeah.
With everyone. I'm reading
Yeah.
and everybody's saying, no, we need more transparency. And everybody's kind of on the same page about
Right.
that.
And I
think,
hear
is
this
what
all
I'm
the time
reading.
because I've knocked on over 16,000 doors. And
Yeah.
so I hear it, I hear what you're saying, and
Yeah.
that as mayor will be, top
Yeah.
priorities.
Yeah. When is, and I got to wrap it up,
Yes,
but here's what I say. You and Sue Finkham are having a debate at the Palladium, correct?
Yes.
Is that October 2nd?
October 2nd, yes.
October 2nd.
And there's a link on the Palladium's website where
Okay.
you can get those tickets.
Yeah, and this
I don't know if there are
presents-
any left.
I don't know. either,
And
but I-
remember, by the way, to vote. That's in addition to
Please
the
vote.
debate, you need to vote. We
Please
have
vote.
a paltry history of municipal
Please, yeah.
turnout.
Listen, vote. Whoever you vote for, just
Yeah.
vote. As long as you vote, you have a say, in my
Right,
opinion.
right.
You vote, you have a voice.
Right.
It's we have the luxury in this country of voting, and in this democracy of ours, and
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I think we take for granted sometimes, but don't. It is a gift, and just get out. I always say, just get out there and vote, and then if you want to bitch, you can.
Only 19% of us actually show up to the polls in these municipal elections.
Yeah.
So it means a very small group of people have always decided who represents and makes these decisions. And I feel strongly,
I think more people will vote this time. I think it's a very exciting campaign. I think more people will get out there and vote this time. I do.
you and me both.
Just a gut just my
Yeah.
gut feeling. I do think that will happen.
Absolutely.
All right, I got to wrap it up. So you're awesome. Thank you,
Thank
my
you.
friend. This was Lunch Break with ATI. Cindy Collins, Miles Nelson running for mayor. And October 2nd will be the candidate debate between Miles and Sue Finkham at the Palladium. I believe it's at 7:30. And thank you so much for joining us. And toodaloo, we'll see you next Wednesday.